Behind closed doors, Egypt is quietly forging an Arab NATO, a rapid reaction force aimed at Israel. Fueled by outrage, ambition, and decades of silent diplomacy, this alliance could redraw the region's power lines. But is it a shield for sovereignty or the spark for a new war? The aftershocks of Israel's deadly strike on Hamas leaders in Doha this week are reverberating far beyond Qatar's borders. In a dramatic response to what many Arab nations view as a brazen violation of sovereignty, Egypt is now working furiously behind the scenes to resurrect an ambitious military alliance that has been dormant for nearly a decade. According to multiple Arabic language reports, including Lebanon's Al-Akhbar newspaper citing a government source in Cairo, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi is seeking to rebuild Arab backing for what officials describe as a NATO-style rapid reaction force. As one informed Egyptian official told Al-Akhbar,
Cairo is counting heavily on securing support for the implementation of this proposal, which was first proposed in Egypt nearly 9 years ago.
The scale of Egypt's ambition is striking. Under the current proposal, Egypt would lead and contribute approximately 20,000 fighters from its army to this joint military force. But this isn't just about numbers.
The mechanism must allow the force to be deployed when needed, and it should be formed in a way that reflects the composition of Arab states and their armies, while balancing regional politics. Cairo wants to retain the first command position while granting the second to Saudi Arabia or one of the Gulf states.
The force would draw from a wide geographic spread across the Arab world, as this alliance would span from North Africa to the Persian Gulf. Egypt is also working on developing the mechanism by which such a force would be activated,
allowing it to be used when necessary and forming it in a manner consistent with the populations of Arab countries and their armed forces, while taking into account regional and political balances in the formation, whether in terms of the inclusion of military personnel from countries such as Morocco and Algeria, or sharing command positions.
Egypt is also working to leverage this proposal to accelerate the pace of development and equipping its army with the latest weapons, assuming the force commander would be either the Egyptian Chief of Staff or a Lieutenant General. Yet, there are significant hurdles ahead.
There are still implementation obstacles facing the proposal should this force be formed, most notably the timing of its intervention and the mechanism for its activation.
More critically, diplomats involved in drafting the framework share a crucial concern. According to Al-Akhbar's reporting, they believe that its formation must be prevented from becoming an Arab declaration of war against Israel, which some countries could use as a pretext to engage in a direct military confrontation with Tel Aviv. The urgency surrounding Egypt's military alliance proposal becomes clearer when viewed alongside Qatar's announcement of an emergency Arab-Islamic summit scheduled for September 15th in Doha. The gathering represents a direct response to Israel's strike that killed 5 Hamas members and a Qatari security officer in the heart of the Qatari capital.
The summit reflects broad Arab and Islamic solidarity with the state of Qatar in the face of Israel's cowardly aggression and the categorical rejection of Israel's state terrorism. The meeting will consider a draft resolution on the Israeli attack on the state of Qatar.
The attendee list underscores the summit's significance. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian and Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani will be present, while Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's attendance remains under consideration. This brings together a coalition that spans the traditional Arab world and extends to key regional powers. Experts captured the broader implications, explaining that the summit signals that such aggression can't be normalized.
The Israeli strikes were seen across the Gulf as an unprecedented violation of sovereignty and an attack on diplomacy itself. The goal is to draw clear red lines and end the sense in Israel that it can act with impunity. Expect a sharper stance on Palestine and a harder edge on Israeli actions.
The connection between Monday's summit and Egypt's military alliance proposal is becoming increasingly apparent. Arab consultations regarding the formation of this joint force are continuing, particularly with Saudi Arabia, which will have the second largest contingent in the force if it is formed, according to the Egyptian source quoted by Al-Akbar. This isn't entirely new territory for the region. Back in 2018, the Trump administration was actively working to revive what officials called a Middle East Strategic Alliance, or Arab NATO. That earlier initiative, which would have included Egypt, Jordan, and the 6 Gulf Cooperation Council states, was designed to foster military cooperation on missile defense and counter-terrorism while deepening economic and diplomatic ties. The proposed pact aimed to counter Iran's military expansionism. However, the current Egyptian proposal represents a fundamental shift in focus. While the 2018 US-backed initiative targeted Iranian influence and even contemplated Israeli partnership or membership, today's discussions center on deterring Israeli actions against Arab states. Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid has already criticized the reported proposal, writing on social media that
the report on Egypt's proposal to establish a joint Arab force in response to the Israeli attacks is a severe blow to the peace agreements, coming right after the severe blow to the Abraham Accords, which came right after a decisive majority of countries that were Israel's allies voted in favor of establishing a Palestinian state.
The stakes have become even more personal for Egypt. Senior Egyptian officials revealed to Middle East Eye that Egypt has discovered Israeli plots to target Hamas leaders in Cairo and has issued stark warnings to Israel. As Arab leaders prepare to gather in Doha, the convergence of diplomatic protest and military planning suggests the region may be entering a new phase of confrontation with Israel. Whether Egypt's revived alliance proposal can overcome the practical obstacles that stalled similar initiatives in the past remains an open question.